Welcome back to Esoteric Ramblings. I'm Jesse Arnold, and today I'm going to be doing my comic haul rundown for Wednesday, August 26, 2020. Alright, so first up, I'll do my full rundown, alphabetical order, just like I did last time. Just running through quick look at all the books I got this week, and then I'll go through my top 5 for the week and a couple honorable mentions and whatnot. So let's roll to the rundown. First up this week is Empire Avengers number 3 of 3, followed by Captain America Empire 3 of 3. Then we move to X-Men number 11, a tie-in to Empire, but not the miniseries. And then it's Amazing Spider-Man number 47, part of the Sins Rising storyline that is currently going on. Next we have Hellions number 3, followed by Mercy number 6, the final issue of this miniseries from Mirka Andolfo. Got both covers here, both beautiful, amazing artwork. And Plunge 6, the last of this miniseries from Hill House Comics. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 108. White Ash number 6, another final issue in the current series, more to come next year. Wonder Woman issue 761, we've got the A and B covers here. B cover is by Josh Middleton. And the last couple we've got is X Factor number 2, featuring the all-new team of investigators for X-Men, and X-Men God Loves Man Kills Extended Cut number 2. They took the original graphic novel and broke it down into 2 single issues with some expanded stuff and new covers, and it's been a lot of fun. This one is a Phil Noto cover, who's one of my all-time favorite comic artists. So if you've never read God Loves Man Kills, check out these 2 issues, or the collected edition that will be coming out in the near future. And here's a quick look inside all this great classic art, just laid out in a new modern format and presentation. And that's about it for the rundown today. All right, so there it is. That was my rundown of all the books I got this week. So if there's anything that I don't go over in my top 5 here that you are interested in, feel free to shoot me a message, let me know, and I will give you some more details on that. But all of these you can find at your local comic shop. If you're at least in the United States, you can go to comicshoplocator.com and punch in your zip code, and they'll tell you shops that are close by. If you are in central Pennsylvania, whether you live here or you're traveling through the area, check out Comics Connection. That's where I work part-time. We have a store in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and York, Pennsylvania. So check those guys out. I'll try to remember to put a link to our Facebook pages or something in there for you. So, all right, without further ado, I'm going to do a cover feature. I'm going to feature a cover that really stood out to me this week, and an honorable mention that should technically probably be in my top 5, but yeah, so we're going to start off with Wonder Woman 761, the alternate cover by Josh Middleton. It's one of the cardstock covers, so it's pretty shiny, but just look at that gorgeous artwork on there. Josh Middleton, if you are not aware, has been doing stuff in comics for quite a while, probably close to 20 years or more. I don't have the exact details. I know I was introduced to his stuff in the early 2000s, if not right around 2000. So at least 20 years. He's done some design work for Serenity and Firefly. He's done covers on Aquaman and Batgirl and all sorts of stuff for DC the last couple of years. He helped create X-23, Laura Kinney, back in the day. So yeah, Josh Middleton, that's a great cover, Wonder Woman cover. So just wanted to highlight that. He's doing the run on Wonder Woman right now for the alternate covers. And next up, and I'll clarify something here. I try to be very specific with words I use referencing comics, and maybe it's just because I work at a shop, or if I'm really anal about stuff, I don't know. But I call that an alternate cover. Some people would call it a variant. I think DC even calls it a variant. But my understanding is that it's a variant if it's a limited quantity. So it's a 1 for every 25 you get, or 1 in 10, or something to that effect. Whereas these covers with DC are orderable. You can order as many as you want usually. Not all of them, but this particular set of books. So I'll try to make sure I specify variant or alternate if I have that knowledge when I make the video. So that's the difference between variant and alternate. So alternate covers you can order all you want. Variants are, you have to hit specific goals in order to be able to order them. That's why they're worth so much money, is because they, you might get one specific variant for every 50. So you get 54 copies of X-Men. You can get, your regular 50 copies, and then you get one of the 54 is the 1 in 50. So that sort of thing. So anyway, now to my honorable mention for the week, Plunge from Joe Hill, Stuart Immonen, and Dave Stewart. Plunge number 6. It is the final issue of the Hill House Comics Plunge series. It definitely feels like this could be a series that gets a second storyline or a second volume down the road, but for now this is the end. This has been a fantastic run on this series. Highly recommend. There will be a graphic novel, see, I'm using the wrong word there, a collected edition of this series coming out before too long. So check out Plunge if you like ocean-bound horror. So all the Hill House books are horror-based, and that one was fantastic. Because if you watched my movie review of Greyhound, the ocean terrifies me, and putting things, horror stories set in the ocean, definitely ramps that up for me. All right, so now my top 5 for the week. Starting with number 5, X Factor number 2, written by Lee Williams, art by David Baldeón, colors by Israel Silva, and letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. VC, if you're not aware, I had to look this up because I wanted to make sure I sounded like I knew what I was talking about, stands for Virtual Calligraphy. It is a lettering studio that does lettering for comic books and other such things. So yeah, someone goes in and designs the letters on the pages. It's not just type font, slap it in, and there you go. So yeah, X Factor number 2. This series has been a lot of fun so far. It's only 2 issues in, but it's a team that's kind of forced together to investigate murders of mutants in this new post House of X Powers of 10 series that they're calling the Dawn of X. So mutants dying isn't so much an issue as they can be resurrected because they have all their memories stored in Cerebro on their new island nation of Krakoa. But when they end up dead in other places around the world that they don't know, this new X Factor team goes in to investigate. And this issue, I will say this, maybe it's a spoiler, maybe it's not, but they end up going to Mojoverse. And Mojoverse has always been one of my favorite X-Men villains and places to go. So seeing this team of characters who are not a bunch of characters I'm super familiar with. You've got, let's see here. So you've got North Star, Daken or Daken, however you say it, Rachel Summers, iBoy. I can't remember this character's name. They say it in here once, but I'm not really familiar with him. And that is North Star's sister, Aurora, in the back here. So, and seeing their dynamic and energy together is a lot of fun. They also are taking care of the baby werewolf that they rescued in Excalibur and brought back from Otherworld. So, or no, they didn't bring it back from Otherworld, I don't think. Anyway, it's definitely worth checking out if you like X-Men, and it does bring back kind of that investigation feel they had for a long time when Peter David was writing. So definitely want to check that out. And then, yeah, so number 4 on my countdown is X-Men number 11. It is a tie-in to Empire. It is not the X-Men Empire miniseries, it's just X-Men number 11, written by Jonathan Hickman, art by Lionel Francis Yu, colors by Sonny Go, and letters by VC's Clayton Cowles. This was a lot of fun. Magneto, I think, is one of my all-time favorite villains, and antagonists to the X-Men. I do like it when he comes around to their side, although sometimes he has done things that I feel might be irredeemable, but depending on how they tell the story, it can be really interesting. And with what they're doing in the X world at the moment, I gotta say, this was probably one of the coolest things I've seen with Magneto in this series. He's had some really cool moments, but this one was a lot of fun where you just get to see him completely unleash his power set in combination with a couple other mutants. And that brings me to one of the things I don't like about the X-Men books right now is charts and graphs. Charts and graphs in every single X book. While the information is interesting, it always feels like kind of a slap in the face reading wise to be into the artwork, following it, and then just get slapped with 2 giant white pages of text. Which I wish there was a way they could put this in exposition from the characters. It is an interesting and unique thing to do, but you know, almost a year into this, I'm getting a little worn out on it. Like I said, this stuff is interesting, but it just feels laborious to get through. That said, that section does talk about mutants like combining their skills together for different effect, and how they're going to start a mutant war college. So not everyone is involved in being an X-Men or on the defensive side. And it's just, again, it's interesting what they say. It just take a lot out of me to read it. But Magneto does this. He teams up with a couple other characters and uses their powers to better enhance his powers, which is really cool. One of my favorite examples was this in the What If Age of Ultron a couple of years ago, when Dazzler basically had Black Bolt scream at her, and since she takes sound and channels it into blasts, that was a really cool moment. If you get a chance to look up that What If Age of Ultron X-Men one-shots. I think it was a one-shot. That brings me to number 4. No, 3. Another Empire tie-in, Avengers 3 of 3. This series was, as I said last time, Empire's been a lot of fun. I've been really enjoying seeing the Avengers and the Fantastic Four team up against this big threat, with the Skrulls and the Kree being questionable allies, and then the Kotati being their main source of enemies in this. This was great, as you had Black Knight, Brother Voodoo, Scarlet Witch, Shanna, Kazar, and their son down in the Savage Land fighting off the Kotati invasion, which are plant-based alien invaders. So having them in the Savage Land was really cool. And this series focused on Shanna was kind of possessed by had been overpowered by the Kotati and was made like the living avatar of the Savage Land and all the vegetation. And this kind of wraps up the story with her having snapped out of it last time and how she uses her powers in influencing the Savage Land against the Kotati, which is really cool. Number 2 on the countdown this week is White Ash number 6. This is from Scout Comics. Another, not one of the big 2, obviously. I really do enjoy a lot of the indie and non-big 2 books that are out there. Scout does some pretty solid stuff. This has been one of my favorites so far. White Ash is set in a small rural mining town here in Pennsylvania, which has definitely jumped out to me. I had no idea what this was going to be about when I read it, but I liked the art. And it ends up being a lot of fun. It's a fantasy series set in modern day America in Pennsylvania, little farming town or mining town, and this kid just wants to go to college and get out of this town that he can't stand. And by the end of the first issue, he discovers that there is a lot more to what he thinks is going on. Elves and vampires and dwarves and all sorts of stuff. It's pretty cool. It was a lot of fun. This is the end of the first arc, so I can't wait for volume 2 to come out. I believe they teased it will be coming next summer. So season 2 of White Ash will be out next summer. So Check your local comic shop, see if they have these. If not, I'm sure there will be a collected edition coming out fairly soon for that. And drumroll or whatever, the #1 book of the week for me this week is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 108. There you go. It is written by consulting writers or story consultants Kevin Eastman and Tom Waltz. Sophie Campbell is the story, script by Rhonda Pattison, who also did the color, art by Nelson Daniel, and letters by Sean Lee. I apologize, I'll scoot back here real quick. White Ash, written by Charlie Stickney, letters and art by Connor Hughes, letters and art by Connor Hughes, and colors by Finn Cram. So White Ash. So back to Turtles, number 108. This series, I missed the first issue when it started 108 issues ago, almost 10 years ago now. And Turtles have been a big part of my life since I was a kid. I think 88, 89, I found the toys in a store, eventually found out there was a cartoon. Pretty soon I knew there was a movie coming out, and one of my best friends since 3rd grade have always been Turtles fans, and a couple other friends along the decades since have come on, and we've just had a lot of fun being fans of the Ninja Turtles. And I gotta say, this series does this world, this universe justice. It takes a lot of things from the cartoons and all the different iterations over the years, even the original comics, and mixes them for a whole new fresh take that has things that you can recognize, but you never know exactly where it's going to go, or if you do, it's still surprising and fun. 108, we're living in New York, where someone has set off a mutagen bomb that has turned a large portion of New York City's residents into mutants. So there is now a mutant town that's essentially a mutant ghetto in New York City, where all the people who have been turned into mutants now live and are trying to figure out how to survive. And we're quite a few issues into the storyline, and the Turtles have just recently reunited and gotten their focus back together. They're starting their own dojo, training some of the younger mutants, and there's been this creature that the urban legend that the kids have been telling about, this creature called the Slithery, that's been stealing kids in the sewers and whatnot. So the Turtles have to investigate their old stomping grounds and find out what's going on down there. So Ninja Turtles number 108 is a good, finally got April back into connection with the guys. She's been kind of doing her own thing. The series is a lot of fun. There's dozens of paperback collected editions that collect 4 or 5 issues at a time. And sometime I'll do a rundown or a review of the hardcovers that collect the side stories, the mini-series, and things that tie into all of it. So there's a lot of ways to catch up on this Ninja Turtle series, and I think it's if you like the Turtles at all, I think it's definitely worth checking out. So that's it. That's my comic haul rundown for the week of August 26th, 2020. If you have any comments or anything you want to say, leave me a comment. Feel free to like if you like the video. That way I know if you want more of these, or if you want me to just do movie reviews and other things. I'm trying to figure this out as I go, and let me know if you like it. And if you want, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. Just that way I know I'm doing stuff people want to see. And I'm just some guy sitting here rambling on about stuff I like, and hopefully it's connecting with some of you out there. All right, that's it. Ramble's over. I'll catch you next time.